Hi, this is Moyna Bass Fishers. I'm Jim Moyna, and in this video we're going to talk about the 2023 Champions Tour tournament on the Homme chain of lakes by Alexandria, Minnesota. The Champions Tour is a catch as many fish as you want, as you can, and they all count. You have a boat official, they weigh every fish you catch, and then you release it right on the spot. And I've been here, I think this was my third Champions Tour tournament here over the last, let's see, I was here in 2019 and then maybe 2018 or 2017. But the third time here, and it more than ever under this format, you just have to find the mega schools out here. That's what it comes down to. This time of year, you're not, it's, what are we, at August 20th or 22nd, whatever it is, 22nd, I believe. There's just not enough fish up, that you can just grind out a shallow water bag and win. And by that, I mean, muck it up in the bulrushes and docks and that kind of stuff. That just is not happening. I mean, there's some fish there, but not enough. I mean, when you can pull up in one spot and catch 27 fish without moving the boat, I mean, that's puts you just miles ahead of other people. So, and that's what it takes on this chain of lakes. Now, if you were to fish a best 5 tournament out here, I think things would be a little different. Because like 2 of the 3 biggest fish that I know of caught today, two of the 3 were smallmouth. And those are going to, and that's not something you really target so much, in the catch all you can, because there's just not enough. It's limited smallmouth population in this chain, so you're not going to, the bulk of your weight's not going to come from them. But in a best 5 format, you can target those smallmouths, and if you can catch a few of those, jumbo sized smallies, I mean, you're going to be doing really well, because it seems like the big largemouths are harder to come by out here. I don't know. I mean, I've been here for like 6 days, and I mean, honestly, I never caught one over 3.5 pounds. When I took second place here in 2019, I had 67 fish, and my biggest one was like 3 1/4. So that's just the way she goes out here. But there are, I mean, there's the random big largemouth, but boy, I think if a guy could figure out those smallies out here in a best 5 format, that might be the way to go. But I don't know. I didn't even try for the smallies out here. So, but I just know only a handful are caught. So, anyways, with that said, I never found that mega school in practice. I was looking for it. I'd spent a ton of time looking for it. I fished some shallow water just to keep that honest, but I'd catch 2 here, 3 there, 2 there, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 3 there, in practice. So I had all these spots where I caught 1, 2, or 3, and then I had one place where I felt like I could catch, if things went well, I could catch a 9 or 10. So that's where I started. And it was weird because it was a boat dock, and then the shoreline right along there had some fish on it. So this boat dock, I pull up to it, I make my first cast, and I kept what I thought was, I kept a ways from it. So I throw it under there, and it's shallow, and I see the shadow dart over to my Nico rig, felt the bite, set the hook, had him hooked for about half a second or a second, and of course the bait came out of the fish, and then I saw another shadow come and felt the bite, and so then I hooked that one, and then like 6 quality fish swam out with that fish, and it was overcast and cloudy, and those fish just wandered away. By the time I unhooked that one, weighed it, I don't know where those fish went. I fan casted around, never relocated them, but they are all nice fish. So, and then I ended up catching, God, I spent like well over an hour, like an hour and a half at least. And I think I had like 6 fish out of that area, which put me behind. So then I left there, scrambled around, caught like 3 more, and I think I was in 30th place after the morning session. So now it was cloudy all the way up until about the last half hour, or no, about the last hour of the morning session. Then the clouds left, and then it got hot and sunny for the afternoon session. So there, the places I went to where I caught fish, I couldn't catch fish. And I actually ended up scrambling around, and 4 of the 6 fish I did catch in the afternoon session, I think it was 6 fish. 4 of the 6 I caught, places where I hadn't even practiced. And then I lost 2. Well, I shouldn't say I lost them. I lost 1. And then, then get this. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered any. But, so at 4 o'clock, when your clock hits 4 o'clock and 0 seconds, the tournament's done. Any fish that come into the boat after that do not count. So I made this cast with like 3 o'clock 59 seconds and it was like 3:59 and like 40 seconds. So, and I'm fishing like 20 feet, so it takes a while for the bait to sink down there. So I make this cast, and I'm like, it doesn't even matter. Why am I even bother casting? Because even if I do hook one, I'm not going to get it in the boat in time. And sure enough, the jig hits, all-terrain tackle jig, hits bottom. I pop it one time, fish grabs it, I set the hook. I reel that thing so fast in, and of course, I swing him in, look at the clock, and it's 4 o'clock and 9 seconds. So that fish, doesn't count. I mean, it's just 9 seconds, whatever. It's done. Threw it back. But it went to got me a check or nothing, because I finished like, I don't even think I told you guys where I finished. It was somewhere in the 30s, mid 30s. I don't even know for sure. Out of 65, so middle of the pack. Not a good tournament, especially when I spend that much time practicing. I mean, I spent more time practicing than a lot of these guys, and just to have everything just not come together just really sucks, really. So anyways, that puts me, one of my goals is to be Angler of the Year. So we got the championship next week, and those points count towards Angler of the Year points. But I went from first in Angler of the Year down to 4th now. So that's kind of a long shot. I mean, I still have a shot to take that down, but we'll see what happens. Obviously I got to have the 3 guys ahead of me fall, and I pretty much got to finish in the top 3 at least, I would think. But so anyways, it was what was really weird today was I mean, I've relied on a Nico rig setup for the last few years in so many situations, and I have yet to see where, when I'm trying to finesse fish, where they actually prefer something else over the Nico rig. And that's what I saw today. At the end, I kind of started picking this up late, in the afternoon. And I would throw a jig or drop shot, or if it's a fast moving bait. And then if I felt like there's more fish in a school there or something, I'd throw a Nico rig there, and usually can, pick up the extras. And so some of these waypoints that I found in practice, I would just start right out with the Nico rig, and we'd catch nothing other than a northern pike. So it was late in the afternoon where I just started throwing the jig first, and I started getting bites. So I don't know if those other places didn't even have fish, or if it did matter. But the thing is, I'd throw the jig, catch a fish or two, and then I'd throw the Nico rig back in there and try to pick up another fish that might be there or two. And it never caught another fish on the Nico rig after I fished the area with the jig. So that was kind of an interesting twist. And it was flat, calm, and sunny. Usually you got to finesse them a little bit, but I don't know. It might have been the faster falling. I bet it has to do with the rate of fall on that. The jig, gosh, what was it? It's like a 5/8 I was throwing, I believe is what it was. So that was, and I trimmed it down kind of finessey, so it had a faster fall, much faster fall than the Nico rig did. So in the clear water, sunny conditions, calm conditions, perhaps the Nico rig, maybe they just got too good of a look at it they could eyeball it all the way coming down to the bottom, and by the time it gets close to them, maybe they were thinking, maybe they realize, hey, this thing's fake, whereas the jig comes down and gets right in their face quick before they can really analyze it. So maybe that's why I got a few bites on that jig when the Nico rig won't catch nothing. So interesting topic, interesting thing to consider. Gosh, for the longest time, I thought that Nico rig was just the deal no matter what. But just like any technique in fishing, there's times when they shine and there's times when they don't. So I guess we saw one of the rare situations today where the Nico rig was the thing you didn't want to be throwing. And I talked to one other angler who said the exact same thing. He finished in the money today, but he said the Nico rig was totally did not work for him, whereas a drop shot is what he caught his on. And with a drop shot, he wasn't a finesse drop shot. I think he was using a 1/2 ounce, and he's using half ounce sometimes. And then he did switch when it got sunny. He switched to a more finessey, but I don't know what he was. When it was cloudy, I always throw in a 1/2 ounce. When it was sunny out, I don't know. But I think if you put on a drop shot and it falls quickly, you're probably going to get the same kind of a bite out of the fish as you would with a fast falling jig. So, gosh, what else can I say? It was just really hot, and super disappointed not to cash a check. To give up my lead on the Angler of the Year, but I got to put all that behind me. I'm going to a lake for the championship next week. It's called Rush Lake by Rush City, Minnesota. Never been there. I don't even know anything about it other than I think it's fertile water with some algae bloom. I don't know what the population is like, so this is all new to me. I'm going to go there. I got the next 5 days to learn this lake and hopefully put together a big win. They're giving away a brand new boat, motor trailer for the winner of that tournament. So I qualified for it. Not everybody in this tour qualifies. They take half the field. So the full field was 65, and it's either going to be 32 or 33 contestants, anglers in the championship. So I'm looking forward to that. Gosh, what else? Caught one on a topwater today up shallow. But anyhow, what else do I got to say? I don't know. I think, it seems like the biggest schools are either in Lake Lahamadu or in Lake Darling. Like, if you can find the schools that are in them two basins, that's what you got to find for this type of tournament. Lake Carlos, that's where a lot of the big smallies are. There's also, you know, some decent largemouth in Carlos. So I think if I do this tournament again here someday, I think every second I'm going to spend in either Darling or the Homme. Every second in practice. But if I come here for a 5-fish limit, then all these other other lakes connected come into play. Carlos comes into play for sure, because there are some big largemouths and big smallmouths in here. So anyhow, let's just leave it at that for now. It was not the best. It was a disappointment. I put in a lot of practice, and it's ironic how the best tournament I had on the Champions Tour was the first one. I practiced one day, finished third. Now this one I practiced literally like 5 or 6 days, and middle of the pack. So anyhow, thanks for watching, and we will come back at you with some more videos in the near future, and certainly next week's championship will be covered. Over.